questions.
Michelle.
So you mentioned that this new review of Russian hacking activity will go back to 2008. Is that the main way that it differs from the FBI investigation that's already done?
I see. It's a good question. And the FBI investigation was looking at specific acts that we saw over the summer and fall of this year. So as you know, they looked at the hacks at campaign committees like the DNC and other malicious cyber activity that we were detecting. At the time, they determined that this is activity that could have only been directed from the highest levels of the Russian government. So yes, this is going to put that activity in a greater context. That's going to look at the pattern of this happening from foreign actors dating all the way back to 2008.
Okay, and the response that's coming now from the foreign ministry in Russia is that they're saying many times they've asked Americans to provide full information but never had any response. Is that true? I mean, have you guys not wanted to have those conversations with Lavrov or others? Is this something you wanted to kind of keep to yourselves for now? Or what can you say about the handling of this with respect to Russia?
Sure. I think to the contrary, Michelle, this isn't something we've tried to keep to ourselves. The president himself has made clear that this is activity that's unacceptable, that is outside the bounds of...
In terms of like the greater detail that they said they were looking for.
I'm not aware of any sort of specific requests that they've asked for, but the president has made clear that his views on this, and that malicious cyber activity, specifically malicious cyber activity timed to our elections, has no place in the international community. Unfortunately, this activity is not new to Moscow. We've seen them do this for years, try and meddle in elections and engage in similar activities in Europe and across Asia. So they unfortunately have a long record of this, but the president has made clear to President Putin that this is unacceptable, but that's not the only channel of communication. I do know that Secretary Kerry has talked to his counterpart, and we have other national security officials who have made this clear to their counterparts in Moscow.
Okay, and will this include a look at any potential attempts or activity at local levels, or is this only going to look at kind of a bigger or a federal level?
Well, I think these agencies will have to take a look at what we saw in 2008, 2012, and 2016. So I think that this is going to be a deep dive, that this will be a review that is broad and deep at the same time. And so they're going to look at where the activity leads them to look at. In other words, that, again, like I mentioned, in 2012, there was no noted episode of this nature, but knowing what we know now, using the tools that we have now, we can go back and see if there was anything that was missed back then.
How is there going, I mean, if this is going to be so broad and deep, as you said, going beyond what the FBI took a pretty long time to do, and going back to 2008, how is there time to do this?
Well, it's a huge priority. This is a major priority for the President of the United States. He directed his intelligence community and national security officials to take this on. He expects that report to be issued to him before he leaves office. You're right, there's going to be a lot of work to be done, but like you've also said, there's already been a lot of work done about the episode this year in 2016. So what we want to do is put that into context over the past 8 years to see if we can sort of develop patterns, take stock of where we are, and make sure that we do have the right defensive capabilities in place.
So when you see the allegations from some members of Congress and others that there could be evidence that Russia was actually trying to influence the election in a particular way, will this also look at potential motivations and you know, whether that leaning was there or not?
Well, we know that, again, in October when the intelligence community released their high confidence assessment.
Just real quick, was it high confidence? Because I thought the statement was just confidence, and this is the first time I've heard high confidence.
Hans, I should double check that, but I'm pretty sure it was high confidence.
I can read it to you.
Let us take this because when I was briefed out here, I was told it was high confidence, but maybe we should just sync up.
So in the breadth of it, will it also look at whether they tried to influence the election in a particular way? Is it safe to say that it would look at motivations?
Well, I want to be clear here that this is not an effort to challenge the outcome of the election, that we have acknowledged who won the election. It wasn't the candidate that the president campaigned for. And so the president has actually gone out of his way to make sure that we are providing for a seamless transition of power. So we're not calling into question the election results. We are taking seriously our responsibility to protect the integrity of those elections.
But is it safe to say that it will look at motivations and goals as well as the technical side of what was done?
Well, I think in that assessment that was released in October, it made clear that this was an attempt to interfere in our elections. So whether or not they dig deeper into motives, I'm not sure that will be a part of this review, but there's some things we already know for sure.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Justin.